What is up, guys? Back in today with another video on the channel, and today I'll be doing a tier list for Hunter x Hunter characters. Got this idea from Twitter, saw a few roaming about and thought I'd give my opinions, as I think it's been confirmed that Hunter x Hunter, the manga, is going to be back continuing, which is awesome news. I think it's been on break for a little while. Just for a bit of a heads up about my experience, I've watched Hunter x Hunter maybe 3, 4, 5 times, rewatched it, absolutely love it, one of my favourite ever anime. I haven't read the manga, but I've read certain bits of the manga. I've read the Kurapika backstory with his whole tribe, and I've also read a bit of the Chrollo backstory, which I think was rather recent, but again, I'm not sure. My friend told me to read it, so I did, and it was absolutely fantastic seeing the kind of origins of the Phantom Troop of sorts, and especially seeing Chrollo's backstory, I think was amazing. But that's pretty much all I've read. I've read a little bit after the end of the anime with, I know who Beyond Netero is, and that's just about it. I didn't continue on, was there. I was always kind of hoping for an anime continuation, and I still am. But yeah, this list I've got right here has got a metric ton of characters, some of which I don't remember even rewatching it recently, so I will have to apologise about especially the names, but I will have to apologise about not knowing some of these characters. Luckily enough for me, there is a little ranking here with don't know / don't remember, but do let me know what you guys think about this down in the comment section. Let me know where your rankings would differ, especially for some of your favourites or maybe least favourite characters. Do leave a like on the video if you guys do like, and subscribe to the channel if you do want to keep up to date. I will be going through this relatively fast because again, there's so many characters here. I will maybe explain some of the more interesting picks, but we'll kick things off with, again, it's going to be a struggle to remember some of these. I think this guy was the second Hunter exam taker when Killer went back, and he just destroyed everyone. So I mean, this guy was like, yeah, 2 minutes of screen time, so I go F tier. We've got the Nen Exorcist, who was, I mean, decent. He had quite a bit more screen time than this examiner here, but again, not majorly fleshed out or anything, I wouldn't say, but he was a nice guy. Don't remember who the hell this guy is whatsoever. Perhaps he was from the first Hunter exam. Again, I don't know, so we'll put him in don't know. I've then got the Croc, who didn't really play too much of a part, I don't believe, in the Chimera stuff. I think he was just there. I don't remember him having any kind of standout moments, so put him in F tier. We've then got probably one of our bigger ones for a little while here, Nanika, who I really like. I really enjoy the fourth arc. Where would I put her? I think she's really cute. I think, again, I really like that final arc in Hunter x Hunter, the Hunter. I was going to say Hunter exam, Hunter election arc. Where would I put her though? It's between A and B tier because, again, I think she's just really cute. I love her relationship with Killua, of course, but as a character, she's definitely not one of my favourites, I wouldn't say. So I think B tier is probably good for Nanika. We've then got this person who, oh, she's in the Greed Island arc, I believe. Am I right in saying that? And I think she's a very bit part character, maybe just during the meeting scene towards the end of that arc. So yeah, F tier. We've then got another one of the kind of maids for the Killua household, I believe. Killua, the Zoldyck household. Maybe it might be Killua's household one day. But she's actually, I can't remember her name, so apologies about that. That'll be a common theme. I do quite like her. I think she was a new maid. Am I right in saying? Yeah, I think she was newly hired towards the end of Hunter x Hunter, and I remember her being pretty nice actually, so I think we'll put her in C tier. Again, not majorly explored or anything, but a decent enough character. Again, got a decent bit of screen time and helped us out during that arc, if I remember correctly. We've then got one of the brothers from the Hunter exam arc, so and I think we saw him in the second Hunter exam as well with this guy, and he got destroyed, so F tier. I think this guy's another one of the Hunters from Greed Island arc, and so is this woman here. Although she had a bit more screen time, we had a whole argument with her, and she actually ended up being quite nice and helping us out. But F tier nevertheless. We've then got the I don't remember her name whatsoever, but she had a kind of charm ability, didn't she, where she'd like control men. Again, wasn't majorly explored, so put her F tier as well. Now, who the hell is this? I've got no idea who this is. Like, not the slightest clue. I feel like this is a bad picture to use because it's all sparkly and shiny, and I just can't tell who that is. So, apologies. I haven't got the slightest idea who that is. Neither with this guy. He looks like a Dragon Ball character. This girl, I think, was part of Kite's crew. Again, didn't get too much out of Kite's crew, did we? So, F tier there. A lot of F tier so far. Again, I don't know why, but this list has got so many side characters on here. Oh my god! It just goes on. So yeah, as you can tell, I'm going to be trying to whiz through this. Holy crap! I didn't think it was that large. We've then got one of Genfu's men, who there were some decent antagonists, but neither of his two kind of followers actually. I think it's like Bara and someone else. I forget. Neither of those two actually kind of really interested me or anything. So they got decent enough screen time, which puts them in D tier, but again, nothing special. We've then got the little armadillo guy that Gon took down. Again, F tier. Nothing interesting about him really. And this is one of what's his name? I forget his name, but the Star Hunter from Greed Island. I think this is one of his men. I think you can see him behind him with his massive stature. Again, didn't get anything interesting from him, so F tier. Then got the Haikyuu. Is it Haikyuu? I can't remember, but the like little poem Haikyuu guy right here, who again didn't get too much exploration, but his Nen ability was pretty cool. And yeah, I think D tier for him's fine. Again, he got a decent bit of screen time during the York New City arc. Again, not a character I massively love or anything. That's the thing. In Hunter x Hunter, there are some certain characters that really don't get much screen time that I do absolutely love. I think back to that one episode with Gyro, for example. I thought that was absolutely fantastic, especially my first watch through. That episode really stood out to me, especially during the whole Chimera arc, where that was just a standout arc in anime in general. So that's saying something right there. I then got the Bat, who Gon fought with an owl, I believe. I think there was an owl with her. Again, F tier. We've then got Batera, Mr. Batera. I did find it quite interesting how Greed Island ended with him kind of. Unfortunately, I think his wife ended up passing away or something, so that was quite sad. But didn't get too much screen time out of him. But again, I liked his involvement in the arc, as little as it kind of was. He kind of sorted things out. Who is this? It kind of looks like. I'm gonna make sure it's not who I think it is. Just a second here, guys. Is that who I think it is? I don't know why they'd choose this picture if it is. But I remember like the mummy, like the Egyptian kind of clothing on. I forget his name. Apologies. No, it's not. He kind of looks like Finks, this guy, but it's not Finks. Very good. I think this is just a random fucking security guard. I think this is just a random security guard from York New City. What he's doing on this list again, some of these are kind of, yeah. We're going with Beans, who, again, not a crazy, like, involved character or anything, but I think C tier. I like Beans. He's always nice. He helped out a bit during the election arc, didn't he? He ended up kind of working together with Gon's dad. Beans is okay, yeah, I'll put him C tier. Then got this guy from the first Hunter arc, like the early episodes, and yeah, don't really care much for him. F tier. Same with the Bison guy here. Although he was pretty nice in terms of the Chimerance, he was pretty human in his not sure how to explain it, but he just actually kind of, he was a bit more loyal to the Queen, I remember, and he was actually more human than quite a few of the Chimerance, like would go out hunting humans for fun and stuff. I don't remember him doing any of that stuff, so shout out to him for that, but again, not too majorly involved. We then got the guy that, funny enough, Bisky's right after, the guy that got caught by Bisky and we used for training. We'll put him F tier, although he had a pretty, actually I think D tier for him. He had we saw a bit of his backstory, so I think that's something for him, isn't it? Again, not a character no one massively cares about, but again, he had a decent little backstory and he was quite involved for an episode or two. Then we've got a few interesting characters come up here. Bisky, who I really like. It was interesting because on my first watch of Hunter x Hunter, I watched it all in dub, and then I watched it sub, and the tone for Bisky was quite different from sub to dub, honestly. I think I prefer her tone, I prefer most things in dub. I think I prefer her tone in the dub, but she's definitely high up. Again, she was heavily involved for quite a long period during the Greed Island arc and the Chimeran arc, and she was a great teacher to Gon and Killua. Really put them through their paces. Really evolved their level, didn't she? But where would she go? I think A tier. You know, I do really like Bisky. I wish we got to see a bit more of her kind of masculine form, though. I do wish we got to see her in action a little bit more, but maybe that's a bit of the allure of Bisky as well, that we didn't get to see it all too much. Yeah, I think A tier is fair enough for Bisky. Again, massive involvement in the story, a character I quite like seeing, always good to see her. And next up, again, we've got another interesting character in Bezef, which he had a slightly substantial showing during the Chimeran arc, didn't he? Again, wasn't massively... Well, that's the thing in the Chimeran. A lot of things were massively important because everything kind of... It all added up, if you know what I'm saying. Every little side story and such, all these characters, all their stories kind of combined into one. And Bezef, of course, helped Palm get in, and then and then a bunch of stuff kind of branched off from that and whatever. So again, you can't ever call something unimportant in the Chimeran arc, I don't believe. But Bezef, obviously a horrible guy. I'm not rating these guys on how much I like. That's the thing. Just to disclose like how I'm thinking about it. So he's not going to B tier. I don't do it based off like how much I like or dislike a character. It's how much I think a character's good. If that makes any sense. So like like someone seen as a villain could still be higher up. Like I'm not going to put villains all in the F tier just because they're villains, for example. But Bezef, again, interesting character, isn't he? Slimy guy. King behind the scenes, pretty much. I still don't think we got too much out of him, so we'll put him in C tier. But I did find his involvement quite interesting. Again, of course, like I said, it added up in the Chimeran story. So I'm just also going to check just how far. Alright, we're 12 minutes. Yeah, this might be a long video. I gotta watch a show in about an hour, so might need to pacing it up with a few of these nobodies. I've then got Cloyster. Is it Clubster? Something like that. Again, I think his name actually changes from dub to sub. I think I remember catching. But he was actually decent. Again, he was a pretty good antagonist, honestly. He wasn't the most scary during the whole invasion, but he was kind of scary just for his kind of thought process and such for a Calgo. So I actually do quite like him, and I liked how he kind of wrapped up his story as well. With Reina right at the end of the Chimeran arc, really liked how that kind of went down. So I don't think he's quite B tier, but I'm not going to order these as well. But he's in C tier, but he would be at the top of C tier if I was to order him. Again, there's just way too many characters for me to order here. I don't remember this guy at all. I think he was probably part of like the first Hunter exam or something like that. I don't really recognise him. He's kind of like a knockoff Netero looking guy. We've then got the controller guy who took on I forget his name, but the other controller from the Phantom Troop during the whole Phantom Troop period of the Chimeran arc, and yeah, he's an F tier. What I'm trying to say. Is this Boulderbo? Boulderbo can also go in F tier, although he was a decent presence during the episodes he was involved in. I've then got I don't remember this guy's name. Bonolenov, I think. I quite like Bonolenov. Again, he's nothing special. We haven't seen his backstory. His Nano ability was cool as fuck. the whole holes in him and the dance and such, and then he just chucked the fucking planet. Just chucked the planet at someone. But again, in terms of like exploration and seeing him, his actual character, we didn't get to see too much out of him. So I think D tier, but he would definitely be near the top of D tier. It kind of feels bad putting any Phantom Troop member down here. Maybe put him C tier actually. Yeah, I think C tier is actually a bit more firm. We then got one of the guys from the election arc who was a big presence but didn't really have too much involvement, honestly. So I will put him F tier. He's meant to be one of the more kind of mature, longer kind of lasting members of that as well, I believe. But from what I remember, I don't remember him having too much involvement. So again, maybe D tier, but yeah, I think D tier is probably a bit more fair actually. This section here is just for characters that were like very minimal screen time, very minimal impact. These guys actually had like a decent screen time. I don't remember this guy at all. Like, who the hell is this? I don't remember this guy at all. What arc is this guy from? I've got no fucking clue. Literally no clue. If any of you guys can tell me where that guy's from. He looks like he'd be a pretty damn cool character. But I don't remember his face whatsoever. I'm pretty sure this is like some kind of poison guy. I don't really remember this guy either. So I will put him in the don't remember. But I remember his face. I actually remember this guy's face. Again, I think he's got something to do with like poison or something. But yeah. Then we got this person who I think he's in the Hunter exam arc, right? Is he the one during the cooking segment with the girl? I think perhaps. I think they were like trying to feed him or something like that. Again, F tier. I don't really remember him all too well. I don't recognise this guy either. He also looks like he could be a pretty prominent character, but I don't recognise this guy whatsoever. We've then got another of the Zoldyck household's kind of maids or servants. In what's her name? I was going to call her Binary for a second there. What's it called? It escapes me. Canary, that's the one. I do quite like Canary. Again, she helped out quite a bit during the final arc of Hunter x Hunter. I think B tier of her. I think again, she's not massively explored or anything, but she's a character that lasted throughout the whole show, towards the start and then towards the end, and a character I quite like. Again, it's one of those unexplainable. Just I like her. I do like her. I like seeing her on screen. Got a nice presence about her, hasn't she? Quite a calm, kind of serious presence, but she's also really nice. I think this is some kind of captain. I remember him from somewhere. Perhaps it was when we went to the Hunter exam, but yeah, I don't really remember him. That is. I can't remember who that is either. Wonder what will be the biggest on here, the F tier or the don't remember. No S tier so far, but that looks like that might change quickly. Yeah, we've got a whole crap. We've got some big characters coming up. We've then got the guy that Kite Gon and Killua took on during that whole kind of gyro underground segment. Again, not really very interesting, is he? What's her name? Cheadle, I think. Cheadle was pretty damn cool during the election arc, I think. Big presence during that. Like seeing her points of view on the whole voting and such. I think we'll put her C tier. I think C tier is probably fair. Then got Cheetu, who had some very funny moments with his Nen abilities, didn't he? Yeah, he really didn't know how to use. To be honest, they didn't really give him the best abilities for his speed, but he was again a decent presence throughout. I think C tier. Loved how he ended up dying as well with Killua's granddad. bloody just squishing him from like a mile away, I believe. Dumbass ants. But yeah, I actually quite like Cheetu, honestly. I liked his persona. It's quite an uplifting guy, if that makes any sense. And again, the decent presence throughout the story. I think he's quite underrated, if anything, to be honest with you. I mean, there's a few underrated Chimera ants from lists I've seen. We've then got the Queen, who, again, we pretty much saw her whole story, but not a character I'm massively attached to, but was of massive importance for sure. I think C tier would be fine, just because, again, just such an impact in the story. But again, not a character I massively care about or anything, but essentially created the Chimera Ant arc, so you ought to give props to that. But they've got Chrollo, who, as I said, I have seen his backstory in the manga. Obviously, York New arc is fantastic, and I can't wait, hopefully, for the anime to be back soon so we can see that animated, see his backstory animated, and see his fight versus Hisoka animated, which I think is a thing in the manga, and I haven't read that, so hopefully the anime can come back. But yeah, S tier, pretty easy and simple right there. Fantastic, just off York New, S tier, but again, from the little added bits I've read from the manga, S tier for sure. I then got another one of the kind of group in the election arc. I don't remember anything from this woman whatsoever, so she'd go an F tier. I then got the fucking announcer, who does a pretty good job at announcing, to be honest with you guys, during some of the fights in Heaven's Arena. She's actually pretty damn cool. I don't recognise whoever the fuck this is. Who the hell is that? I've got no idea who that is. Surprised how many of these I don't actually remember. I remember this guy, funny enough. The most memorable is just the standard bodyguard. This guy is... Look at these two guys, by the way. These two guys are just picked out of... You can tell these guys are picked out of like a massive shot, and they've just zoomed in on shots of like 100 people and picked these two people for whatever reason. You can just tell by the quality of their images. Nobody knows who these guys are. We then got the guy that hired Kurapika. No, I think F tier. Yeah, he's not very interesting. Didn't really care for him whatsoever. I mean, he was involved, but he was only involved in a kind of guiding aspect. If you get what I'm saying, he was just there to kind of further along Kurapika's story, and that's about it. I mean, you can say that about a few things, but he didn't do it in like an interesting way. Again, random doctor. Don't know. Then got June, I think this guy's name is. Again, not a massively involved character. A big part of the end of Greed Island, but again, not someone I really care about all too much. A random soldier, but don't know. Then got the girls from the Greed Island arc, who I really like their tone. I think I'm going to put them both in D tier because I really like just their tone and how they are. But again, there's nothing majorly special about them. We don't really get to learn too much about them other than they're Jing's friends. But I don't know. There's just something about their tone that I really like. So they seem quite kind. And when you think about it, like what a job they've got. what a terrible job they've got. They're basically doing admin for their whole lives for this game, and their whole life is devoted on that, which I find quite crazy. So again, got to respect that. Put them in D tier. I think this was the dog guy's girlfriend, am I right in saying? During the York New arc? You know, the guy that could like talk to dogs. I think this was his girlfriend. Don't really know much about her, so F tier. Then got another interesting one here in what's his name? Oh no, I forgot his name now. Apologies, a lot of you guys are gonna be pissed that I don't know this guy's name because he's a bit of a fan favorite, I believe. No, I don't remember it. I was about to call him Shalnark, but that was the guy I was talking about earlier with the controllers. Cool. He's a tough one because again, he's not majorly explored, but you've got to admit he is cool as fuck. When we saw his Nen abilities, he was awesome as fuck as well with that whole kind of. It's like a medieval kind of coating and such, and I think he's got a few versions of that. I think they did mention, so definitely looking forward to seeing more of him. So whether A tier or B tier though, very edgy character is what I'll say. A lot of edgy people like this guy. Oof, where do you go? A or B tier? Damn, this one's hard. This one's hard, this one. Put him in A tier for now. Definitely one of the Phantom Troop members I'm most interested in, that's for sure. We then got Flutter, who somehow I remember Flutter's name and all these fucking crappy Chimerans, but not a massive member of the Phantom Troop. Again, apologies. He was okay again, nothing too interesting. He was heavily involved. Funny enough, his carcass had a bigger involvement than perhaps he did with a Calgo, but yeah, I think D tier was a decent presence just because he had those drone things that could like see everything. But nah, who am I kidding? Put him in F tier. Then got Franklin, who's a member again that we haven't seen. I don't even really know too much about Franklin in terms of his personality. Like we can get a lot from the Phantom Troop. You can tell who each of the characters are, except for me, Franklin. I feel like Franklin is definitely one that I really don't know too much about at all. I mean, he's got those kind of finger guns, but as a person, I really don't know too much about him. So he'd probably be my lowest ranked Phantom Troop member, but still, he is a Phantom Troop member, so he is automatically quite cool. But yeah, I think D tier for Franklin. Again, I'd like to see quite a bit more out of him, honestly. Then got the Toad. I got cut in half by Kite's crescent scythe thing. F tier. Had this random bandit from the Greed Island arc. F tier. Then got the what's her name? Don't remember her name, but she's like a snake girl from the election arc. Again, she wasn't massively involved, so F tier. Then got Genfru, who is quite a hated character. A lot of people don't like Genfru. I'm not a big fan of Genfru, don't get me wrong, but he was a decent antagonist for what Greed Island was. I think C tier. Yeah, I think C tier is fine for Genfru. Again, he was big presence. I think a big presence, not when he was on screen, if that makes sense. When you like heard about the bomber and such, I feel like that kind of that created a great atmosphere. He had a decent atmosphere when he was on screen, but again, I think that kind of off screen, kind of just talking about him, actually created quite a good atmosphere and presence for Greed Island. It was a little bit disappointing when you actually like saw him. It was just like this nerdy fucking wannabe cool looking guy, and his ability wasn't all that. But yeah, no, I recognise this guy. I think he was from the first Hunter exam arc, wasn't he? But I don't think he was massively involved. I've then got the Spinning Tops guy, who, again, not a great character. No idea who that is. And then we've got Jing, which is a very tough one for me because I think manga readers get a lot more out of Jing, if I'm right in saying. I think he's quite bit more involved in the manga. In the anime, we really didn't see him all too much till the election arc, did we? But just as, again, a bit like Genfru, just as a presence throughout the story, I think he does a lot. So I think either B or A tier. Again, perhaps if I read the manga, he'd be higher up. But obviously, he's a shitty dad. he's a shitty dad, but he's also quite a cool dad in the way he's kind of raised his son, honestly. Again, I think just for presence alone, I think I've got to go A tier, to be honest with you. We've then got another one of the election guys. This one was a little bit more involved than the others, I believe. So I think we will put him D tier as well. But again, not massively kind of explored or anything. I've then got Gon, which is very interesting. Because a lot of people would just put him straight in S tier. I'm very much struggling between S and A tier. I think he's a great main character. I think especially in terms of like just seeing the main character as the good guy, he very much kind of blurs the lines of like, especially as the story goes on, blurs the lines between like good and bad, and obviously we see in the Chimaeran arc him kind of lose it. And I quite like that about him. He's not just your stereotypical protagonist, but early on in the story he is quite simple and he is that kind of stereotypical protagonist. But I do like Gon's journey throughout the story. So tough one between S and A tier, isn't it? Very tough one. I think I'm going to put him A tier. And of course he would be at the top of A tier. Maybe a controversial one again. I think a lot of people just instantly pop him into S tier, but I think he's got some S tier moments, like I said, with the Chimaeran arc. Well, he was pretty much non-existent during the final arc until the end, but during that final arc I really loved the kind of send-off we got for the series as well. So got some S tier moments for sure. Volleyball, dodgeball as well and such, but again, as a character, I think there's still more to him. I think there's still more to be explored there. Then got another one of the guys from the Green Island arc, Garenu. Again, amazed now I can remember this guy's name and not some of the others, but he was quite cool actually. I quite like Garenu. He had a pretty cool ability as well. Put him in D tier. Then we've got random gorilla. Wait, is this one of Garenu's gorillas? Or is this a Chimaeran? I don't really know. Either way, I'm going to have to. And then got Goto, who I thought he was fantastic during the final election arc. I thought he was really cool. Bit of a shame what happened, of course, but very much a shame. I was gutted the first time I watched Hunter x Hunter, knowing that he ended up biting the dust. But yeah, really cool character actually. I really like Goto. C tier for him. Oh, actually, I do like him quite a bit more than anyone else in C tier. So I think B tier is actually good for Goto. This guy during the first Hunter exam arc, I don't really remember him, so from there. The Chimaeran that found a gun. And here's what I was talking about earlier, Gyro. I loved that one-off episode focusing on Gyro's backstory with his father. I thought that was absolutely fantastic. So A tier. We don't know much at all about Gyro. We're not sure if he ended up kind of becoming a Chimaeran of sorts. I think he did. Honestly, one of my theories is that he did become. I can't remember which Chimaeran it was, but I think it was Meruem. I kind of have a feeling that Meruem had some Gyro in him. I don't know if anyone else thinks that. I haven't really seen anyone talk about it, but my personal theory was that Gyro ended up getting consumed a bit by Meruem, but I'm not sure that actually works out, because I think Gyro might have been taken by the guys that Killua and Kite fought during that whole underground bit, but again I'm not really sure. But I don't know, I can just see from Gyro's backstory, I can just see that maybe slightly linking into how Meruem thinks. Honestly, I'm not sure if any of you guys feel that way. Definitely let me know in the comment section if so. But again, I thought that backstory was absolutely phenomenal. Same as with the Netero one-off kind of backstory episode we got during that arc. I thought that was phenomenal as well. Again, this is just like a random background character they've added for some reason. Not a clue who that is. This guy's during Greed arc, but I don't really know him. Hanzo, who appeared at the end of Hunter x Hunter as well as in the first arc. I really liked him when I first watched Hunter x Hunter. I thought he was going to be a big character going forward, and then he just we never saw him again until the final arc. But quite a promising character. Hopefully he might be able to get back in the story at some point. But again, not massively explored or anything. But I think D tier is fair for him. Again, not massive involvement if you exclude the Hunter exam arc. Yeah, I think D tier for Hanzo is good. Could go C tier, actually. I quite like his. Yeah, you know what? I'll put him C tier. I quite like his personality. I think he's I like how he does things. I like how he does his business. We've then got Reiner and Thingy's mum. What's his name? Kurt. Reiner and Kurt's mum. again, sad character I can empathise with for sure, but not an interesting character, not a character I care too much about. Again, don't get me wrong, the tears start flowing a little bit during the end of the Chimera arc when Reina went back, of course, but again, still not a character I really care too much about. I've then got the, I think, floor 100 or 200 kind of floor caretaker, I think. F tier during the Heavens Arena. Also, my theory was, another theory I had was this girl, you know, the bee hat girl that controls bees. I think that this Chimera is kind of part her, just from the appearance, but again, not confirmed, or I don't think I've seen any theories about that anywhere. But yeah, she was a decent presence. She was a bit weird, wasn't she? She had like a nice kind of persona, but she said some really weird things about like eating humans and such. Again, not a big character, so she'll go F tier. We then got Random Bodyguard number 400. Then got Hisoka. He's going in the S tier. I love Hisoka. I think his presence, again, as weird as it is, especially during like Heaven's Arena and the Hunter exam, is like perverted as it is. I think that presence is terrifying, and I love his involvement in the final, in the election arc, which was awesome as well. Actually trying to save Gon and such. He's just a brilliant character. I think he's a massively kind of memed and kind of see photos of him everywhere for a reason. I think he's just a brilliant presence. One of the best side characters in anime, probably. And he has a lot of focus all throughout the story as well. Helped out in the Greed Island arc. Didn't see him at all during the Chimeran arc, but not too much of a big deal. But yeah, love whenever he's involved in the story. Here's the owl guy I was talking about earlier with the bat girl. Again, don't really care about him. No idea who that is. This isn't even a character. I'm pretty sure this is like AI. This is like when we went during the Yorknu arc when we tried to get some information. Like, can you even call this guy a character? No idea what that is. What is that? No idea. I think you'd think I'd remember some of these really outlandish looking things like this, but I've got no clue where they're from at all. And then we've got another couple big characters here. Ikaruga, who I didn't like too much on the first watch through of Hunter x Hunter, to be honest with you guys. He probably would have been D or C tier, but the more I rewatch, the more I really do like Ikaruga's story. It's not amazing, don't get me wrong, but I do like his kind of story of growth and friendship with Killua. I do quite like that, so I think we'll put Ikaruga C tier. Could go B tier as well, perhaps, but I don't like him quite as much as any of these characters up here. We then got Illumi, who's again another presence quite similar to Hisoka, but in a kind of bit more sinister way. Not quite as perverted, a bit more just like sinister, and he's a big presence throughout the story as well. But B tier, just because I would like a bit more of him. Don't get me wrong, we got quite a bit of him during the final election arc, and his reveal in the Hunter exam arc was fantastic. I loved that moment. But overall, I would like to see a bit more out of him, for sure. I see him quite highly rated, and maybe in some of the S and A tiers, and I don't quite understand that. But yeah, I think B tier is good for Illumi. Again, big presence, especially on Killua. We then got another one of the brothers going F tier. This was just a random, again, I don't know how I remember this, but this is just a random Chimera that got what's it called? Yo-yoed by Killua during the Chimeran arc, during the invasion. He didn't even have a line. Then got Netero, who this one will be tough. He's definitely up there. It's just where. Netero, man. Again, big presence. Big presence, and what a job he done the Chimera arc. Loved his fight versus Meruem. I think A tier. I think A tier is fair for him. God, I don't know. If on my first watch through, Netero was S tier. It was one of my absolute favourite characters. But again, I think the more I watch I don't know, his legacy as well. Just like even after his death, he's still like a big player somehow, even after he's died. Well, I don't know, man. I think A tier, yeah, but it would be next to Gon at the top of A tier, I think. Maybe I'll actually order the top ones here. Yeah, I think I'll order S, A, and B tier. I think that won't be too big an issue with it. I think it'd probably go like this. Actually, I think. I've then got random side character who I don't know here. Another one. Another one. Who are these people? There's Kurapika's teacher. Like I remember, like, I don't know if you guys. I remember quite a few niche characters here, and there's so many I don't recognize at all. It was crazy. Yeah, Kurapika's Nen teacher again, not massively involved. Obviously, a big part of the story teaching Nen Kurapika. Teaching Nen Kurapika. Teaching Kurapika Nen was obviously a big deal, but other than that, he really, yeah, not much involvement whatsoever. So F tier. I think that guy was like part of the original kind of group during the Greed Island arc. Again, no idea who this is. This was another one of the Greed Island team members. I think he died. I think he got killed by Genfru. I think he was like the first one to die. Then we've got this guy from the first. You know, this guy might go higher just because he gave Killua such a cool moment in Killua taking his heart out. But as a character, F tier, I think. That is the thing as well. Just another kind of caveat here. These are obviously all my opinions, so there's no right or wrong here. But what was I about to say? I can't remember. But yeah, these are just my opinions, so don't take any of the things as fact or anything. Of course, I doubt you guys will. Next up, we've got. Oh, what's her name? I don't remember her name, but Killua's sister. I want to say it starts with I, but I don't. Kaluto, that's the one. Kaluto, who we didn't see much of at all until the Chimera arc, where we saw her with the Phantom Troop. And I think she's got a lot of potential. We don't know much about her at all yet. But I quite like her kind of her sinister nature with the paper and cutting things up slowly. I think that's actually quite cool, and she could rise up the ranks quickly. That's maybe what I'm trying to say here. But obviously, we just hasn't really had enough of her so far, have we? Love it when she was like, "I'll try and take over the Phantom Troop." Oh, I am but a bit of paper in a sea of sharks in comparison to these guys. Okay, how much? Look how much we got left still. Bloody hell! Crazy amount. Again, I might just start rattling off some side characters. This guy like Bonsai or Tanzai or something like that. I don't bloody know. Again, he was a bit more involved than the others, but still probably F tier. I'm not a fan of his type of personality. Bit Sundre like. Then got the guy from Heaven's Arena. He got destroyed by Hisoka. F tier. Don't know who this is. I think this is slightly recognisable, but I can't really say I know who that is. This guy's design always made me crease. Don't know why, he just looks like a pimp. F tier. Here's a guy who disrespected Gon and Killua during the Greed Island arc, and then ended up wanted to trade with him. No idea who that is. Another one of that A-Star Hunter's men. This is another commentator, but I don't recognise where this one's from, so don't know. They got Killua's mum. again, not majorly involved or interested in her. To be honest, she's probably the least interesting out of the whole Zoldyck family for me, so F tier. We've got 4 characters here, so I'm just going to put them all in I don't know. I especially don't know who these 2 people are. I think they're actually just I think these can pretend to be human, right? So I think they're actually just the same creature. Again, it's been a while. Then got straight in S tier. Probably my favourite character in Hunter x Hunter. I think it's fair to say. Killua. I love his storyline. I love the tone of his storyline. Just how sad it is. Which sounds strange, I know, but I don't know. There's something about Killua you just love. And you love to see his journey, and you see him kind of help out a Calgo, which adds more to him. I don't really need to speak too much with Killua. Everyone loves Killua, and one of my favourite characters in anime in general. Easily done. Then got another one of those creatures. Kite, new Kite, who we've got both Kites here. So this one's really quite strange, isn't it? Like, do we rank Kites the same? I'm going to rank him as a new character. So as a new character, it would be F tier because just haven't got anything out of him other than seeing him when he was a baby. But OG Kite, this also might be a bit controversial, to be honest with you, but I think I'm going to put him B tier. And it would be towards the top B tier again. Massive impact on Gon especially, but Gon and Killua. Massive impact on the Kamaran arc, but I think there was a few things missing in his backstory in the anime, I believe. I think it was meant to be introduced quite a bit earlier on in the series, but they cut him out, which is a shame because I think that would have actually impacted us quite a bit more. But nevertheless, he had quite a big impact. But for me, again, he's not one of my absolute favourites. He's got really awesome Nen ability. I love his kind of crazy slots or something, I think it's called. But yeah, just didn't impact me as much as he seems to impact a lot of other people. I usually see him in like the S or A tiers, which I find really interesting. He just didn't have enough screen time for me. Again, don't get me wrong, he had like 30 or 40 episodes-ish, but I didn't really grow that attachment that seemingly a lot of other people have towards Kite. So yeah, I think B tier would be good for that. I forget this guy's name, but he ended up having a really funny segment in the Kamaran arc, didn't he? Nov, is it? Knov. Quite like him as a character as well. Down to earth, quite chill, until he got super paranoid and scared. I quite like him. I think he'll go. I think C tier, towards top of C tier. I think is actually good for Nov. Again, I love just how much it showed us as the audience the impact the Kamarans are. The Kamaran, can't speak. It's been a long time talking. I love the impact it showed us as the audience the Kamarans have on characters in the series. Someone as experienced as Nov loses his hair and starts acting insane just from the aura he felt. I love the impact that had. Love it. We've got Knuckle, who is a decent character. Again, not one of my favourites or anything. He's a good teacher to Gon, but I think C tier would be good for him. Again, it's the kind of sad thing about this, because you want to respect everyone that had a part to play in the Kamaran arc, because everyone did a hell of a fucking job. But just as a character, I thought his relationship with UP was really interesting. Loved the developments with that, to be honest with you. But I think that was more on the side of I love UP's developments, and yeah, it was interesting in that respect. But I think I might take Beans down. I don't think he fits. I don't think he fits in the characters of C tier, does he? Then got this guy was always really strange. The what's it called? Koala guy. I don't know what to make of him, to be honest with you. Never known what to make of him. He was like, yeah, I struggled to say anything. He was seemingly quite harsh at the start, and then he was just like a businessman. I don't know. I don't really know what to say about the koala guy. I've then got Komugi, which is a tough one. It's always really tough ranking Meruem and Komugi as kind of separate, because their story is so intertwined, in my opinion. She's going high up. That's for sure. But where exactly? Again, very. She's got a lot to her as a person. She's very endearing, isn't she? Just the way that she is. And again, her relationship with Meruem is fantastic. I think A tier for Komugi is good, just as a standalone character. Maybe B tier as a standalone character. I don't know. Again, it's super tough because if I was to rank Komugi and Meruem's relationship, it'd be S tier. But just Komugi by herself, I think B tier. We've got Cortopi. Who's again not majorly explored or anything. Got a pretty cool ability, but that's about it. Don't know much about him whatsoever, other than I'd love to know what he looks like underneath that hair. But yeah, D tier. Then got Kurapika, who is a fantastic character. Where will you be going? S tier? I do love Kurapika again. York New City arc, fan-fucking-tastic. But that's pretty much it for Kurapika, isn't it? He was involved in the Hunter exam arc, York New City arc, and then he didn't really have any involvement. I'm hoping he gets more involved in hopefully animated arcs coming up. But yeah, I'd love to see more. That's the one thing. Screen time is the thing that takes Kurapika down a little bit. I'd love to see him involved a bit more. Obviously, it makes sense why he's not. He's got his own mission and own things he wants to do. But I think again, the presence is there. The Nen ability is honestly some of my favourite in the series. The way they're revealed as well. Yeah, I think again, just presence and moments. He's got S tier. I think that's good. Again, I read his backstory in his village as well, which was great. I read that on a plane. I'd never read manga before that, and that was probably the first manga I ever read, was Kurapika's backstory. So, again, it's super tough. Would I have him above Gon? I think I would. I think I would have him above Gon, which might sound sacrilegious to a few people. I don't know. Okay, so we're getting close to the hour mark, so I'm going to start speeding up even more with some of these characters. So we have Original Kurt. Put him in F tier. Good little brother. No idea who this guy is. Another guy who tried to steal from us in Greed Island. One of the shitty, what are they called? I can't remember what they're called, but those guys were just embarrassing. And got Leo, who's again a character I see really, I wouldn't say disrespected, but underrated. I really like Leo. As a person, I think he's really interesting. His kind of scheming nature, his lesson he learned. He can't actually be the king of the jungle, even though he's the tiger. I always find really fascinating. And again, I think he's a very underrated character. His Nen ability is cool as well. Of course, it's very similar to Crollo's, but I'm going B tier. I like Leo quite a lot. I like his fights. I think every fight he's in is great. Underrated character in my opinion. Then got I'm forgetting his name now. Again, it's weird the names I remember and the ones I forget. What's his fucking name? I forget his name. Apologies, guys. But he, again, not one of my favourites. Obviously, I don't remember his name, so I think you guys can tell that. Had a great moment in the election arc. Other than that, not too much of a standout. Leorio, that's the one. Yeah, honestly, probably my least favourite of the kind of main group by some way as well. You could say he got done a bit dirty, to be honest with you, when you see Kurapika, Killua, and Gon storylines, considering they were a foursome. You could say he's got done a bit dirty. We've then got the girl from the first Hunter arc, which we'll put F tier. Then got Kurapika's boss, Nostradamus, something like that. I thought his story was actually quite funny with his daughter, the way he relied on her so much. F tier, but I think he would be right near the top of F tier. Honestly, I did find his story quite interesting. Another one of Kite's followers, F tier. So again, who the fuck is that? Another one of those shitty fucking guys from York New. Oh, you know what? Was this guy from the Hunter exam arc, right? I don't remember him. That probably means he's F tier. I remember him being pretty snidey though. We then got the guy who was with June. I forget his name though, but I quite liked his tone. I actually thought he was a pretty nice seeming guy. Oh, where's he gone? Oh god, he's gone exactly where I wanted him to go. Funny enough, D tier again, only in that one episode, but seemed like a nice kid, honestly. No idea who that is. Oh, I don't remember her name either. Does it start with an M? I want to say Mackie, but I don't think her name's Mackie. Apologies. I know she might be a bit of a fan favourite as well. I do quite like her as well. Again, I like her tone. She's quite somber and monotone sounding, but she definitely gets fierce when things get down to it. With Chrollo, for example, she definitely had some fierce moments. Again, we haven't seen enough of her. I loved some of the intro segments of her kind of healing Hisoka, stitching him up, and I think she's got a cool ability in that kind of Nen stitches, but definitely want to see more of her. So I think C tier, good for what I'll call Mackie. I don't think that's her actual name, but apologies. We've then got, I think, another one of those Camarants that Killua yo-yoed. This dude who Magitani or something, I think. No idea who that is. I can't remember. I recognise the face, but I can't remember who that is. Random bodyguard. No idea who that is either. And then we've got some big characters coming up here now. So we've got Melioron, I think his name is. Again, big part of the Camarant arc. As a character, don't care about him all too much. Got awesome ability, of course. Had some great moments to the Camarant arc. As a person, again, he was a great job of showing us, the viewer, again, how scary the Camarants are, the big dogs especially, with his reactions to them. But again, as a character, I don't care for him all too much. Melioron. Then got Melody, who again has a very kind of special tone to her, doesn't she? A very melodious tone, very somber and very warming. I quite like Melody. I do quite like her. Again, not massively involved. We saw a little bit of her backstory, of course. What happened to her people? I think they heard some kind of song that you weren't allowed to hear. They got fucked up massively. I do like her. I think she was, again, a really calming and nice presence during the York New City arc. So yeah, C tier for her. Then got that Examiner, who I don't really care about. She's got a really cool design, but I really couldn't care less about her. Then got Yuppie, who I brought up earlier, who had a very awesome relationship with Knuckle. Again, I think it was more so on the side of Yuppie learning like respect and just like those things you can only learn during a fight with someone of a similar level. I thought that was absolutely fantastic. And it's a tough one for a B or A tier for Yuppie. I think B tier, but again, I love his storyline. I love how the events played out with him in the Camarant arc. His evolution. And again, massive presence. He was terrifying. They got Meruem, and this one, again, I really don't need to say too much. Just going straight in S tier. Brilliant character. Brilliant. Every fight he's in. Even more so, the talks that he has with people. It's just like there's almost more aura in the way he like talks with Netero than there is in the fight with him. If that makes any sense to you guys, it's just like, it's insane. No idea who that is. No idea who that is. Then got fucking the Zoldyck dog for whatever reason. What's this guy's name? Miyuki? I think it could go F tier. Yeah. Excuse me? Who's this? Is that him? But after he what? Who put this thing together? Yeah, this guy was like, I can't remember his name, but he was the leader of East Gorto before Meruem took over. Yeah, F tier. Mito. Honestly, I don't remember much of her episodes whatsoever. I'm gonna go F tier because I don't know much about her other than she's Gon's parent, or well, not his actual parent, but she looked after Gon, and that's pretty much all I know about her, to be honest with you guys. I think the original anime, the 90s anime, explored her a bit more, but I haven't actually seen that one. As I said, I haven't read the manga either, so just from what I've been exposed to, I don't know much about her whatsoever, to be honest with you guys. Here's the maid that got fucking blown up from asking Nanika for wishes, which was hilarious. This cow guy, was actually, again, one of the more involved members of the election arc. So he does get more points just for that. But I'm still not a character I'm all too interested in. And his design is quite funny, isn't it? Another one of Kite's followers. I don't know why it's taken so long to scroll. Apologies about this. Oh yeah, another one of Kite's followers, F tier. Another one of the Greed Island members. Oh, here's a good one. I love this guy. Well, what's his name? Nov and I forget his name. I love this guy though. I thought every fight he was in was interesting. Like, it wasn't just bam bam hit punch punch. It was like, as with a lot of Hunter x Hunter fights, it was just like very methodical, very thought out, and I love the way he fights. I love his ability, the smoke. I think that just makes for super interesting fights. One of my favorite side characters, I'll say. I can't remember his name, so apologies, but yeah, he was great presence. I love how everyone respected him as well. How Knuckle and what was the other guy's name? Shoot. I love how Knuckle and Shoot's respect for him. It's just, yeah. I don't know if he's underrated. I don't know how people rate him, but one of my favorite side characters for sure. I think it's just taken so long to scroll because there's so many goddamn images here. Another one of those crappy Chimera ants from the underground. No idea who that is. Don't know why Nanika's on here twice. Guess we'll put her with herself. I guess we'll put Nanika with Nanika. I mean, they're the same. Well, they're not the same person, really, but they're one and the same, so put them together. The Thing. We've then got, this one should be interesting. Neferpitou. Again, if this was like, I've seen her at the bottom of a lot of people's lists, but I don't think they're judging her as a character. I think they're judging how much they like her, which is not very much. And obviously I don't like her very much. Although towards the end of her time, before she died, I think it was actually really interesting, kind of the way she reacted to Meruem's wants for Komugi, and how she kind of changed to be quite a bit more defensive rather than just like, again, initially she was on the prowl, on the how do you say it? Pounce. She was pouncing on people, pouncing on Kite, Gon and Killer, for example. But again, ultimately became more defensive and looking after things. I liked her. I liked her evolution. That's something in common with all of these Chimera ants. Honestly, they're all evolved very interestingly. Especially, you'll notice the ones higher up are the ones that had the most interesting kind of evolutionary changes. She would go A tier. Again, presence, terrifying. She was She was perhaps the scariest of the Chimera Ants. Honestly, I think her and Poof were the scariest, to be honest with you guys. As much as Yuppie looked horrific, I think the way that she was early on was horrifying. Again, it very much went downwards though, horrifying wise for Neferpitou as the story went on. Then got the Nostrad's family daughter. Don't really care about her. Fucking pretty sure that's just a character. No idea who that is. Some nerdy little kid here. Nope. Another one of the Greed Island people. Don't know who that is, so we'll just rank him now. Another one of the more loyal members of the Chimera Ant here. This little squid guy. And then we've got he's got like Nobunaga. I was gonna say he's got like a classic name. I like Nobunaga again. Probably not one of my. I wouldn't say he's in the upper half of. I'd say he's in probably the lower half of my Phantom Troop members, but I still quite like him. I like the way he is. I like his personality quite a bit. He's got quite a standard kind of Nen technique. Very standard. We know that can be powerful, but as a character, I like the way he is. So I think we'll put him C tier. Definitely shows a bit more kind of personality than a kind of Cortopy or such. And again, great presence in the York New City arc. I've then got these guys who I think they like play games with Killua. I didn't really like their episodes, to be honest with you. I liked what happened with Killua during those episodes, but I really couldn't care less for these guys. Another one of those shitty fucking people. I don't even remember what they were called. It's like the Shadow Beasts. That's the one. The shitty fucking Shadow Beasts. He had a cool ability, which he's now dead, and I'm pretty sure it's got stolen. Now here's a tough one. Paku Noda. I like Paku Noda a lot, you know. I love her involvement, especially towards the end of the New York New City arc. I think was fantastic. As a character as well, I quite like just how she is, quite stern and she's quite seductive in a way. She's got a nose like mine. I quite like her nose like that though. I don't know about you guys, but I actually think she's maybe one of the better looking characters, as much as you wouldn't normally expect her to be. I think she is one of the more, again, seductive characters, which I don't usually rate too much, but I think that actually works in her favour quite a bit for me liking her as a character. Looks like my page is frozen. Okay, so I think I got it back working now. I'm going to put her... difficult one, this one. It's A or B tier. I think I'll go B tier. But again, I love how she went out shooting everyone with her memory bullets and just telling them the truth and such. And I've got a lot of respect for Paku Noda. A lot of respect for her. The more I think about this, the more I feel like this guy should go down as well. I don't think he's on the level of every other character in this tier, actually. I don't know why, I just can't remember his name. I'm trying to scroll down. Okay. Again, I think my laptop's struggling with the amount of images. Again, I'll just rattle off some characters that are going to go in F tier here. Don't know who that is. You guys obviously don't care about me ranking these characters. It's the girl from Greed Island. No idea who that is. Maybe I should have done this at the start. Maybe I should just put all these characters. I have no idea who they are in F tier or don't know tier. Random nurse. Okay, we've then got Palm. Again, I'm not sure if the way this is going, I feel like the human Palm might be on here as well. A lot of F tier characters. Again, this is just in the context. Oh yeah, this is what I was going to say earlier. This is just in the context of Hunter x Hunter. Like, I'm not. These aren't F tier characters in anime. These aren't D tier, A tier, S tier characters in anime, although they are as well. These are just in relation to Hunter x Hunter. So it's like I'm not comparing this to like One Piece, for example. Palm. She's okay. Again, I much prefer her tone and her personality after she becomes a Chimera, funnily enough. But yeah, I think C tier is fine for Palm. Again, not a character I overly love or find interesting. I love her point of view of the whole Meruem Komugi relationship, though. Towards the end of the Chimera arc, I thought that was brilliant. But as a character, most of her screen time I didn't really care too much for. Here's another quite underrated character in Pariston. I think he's got a lot more going on in the manga, I believe. Again, I haven't read much at all. I haven't continued off. I've just read parts here and there, but I have heard that I think he's a bigger part in the manga. Obviously, he was only introduced during the election arc, but as a presence, I thought he was fantastic. Very sinister, seeming anyway. We don't really see too much of him actually, kind of his badness, but again, just things you like hear, just bits of conversation about him, I thought was absolutely brilliant. And again, I usually see him towards the bottom of these lists, so I don't know if this is unpopular, but he's going B tier. I think he could be a big player going forward in Hunter x Hunter. If he's involved in the next arc, I think he could be a fantastic character. And then we've got Sphinx, who is alright. He's alright. Yeah, not one of my favourite Phantom Troop members. He's definitely one of the standouts. He gets a lot of screen time, but not one of my favourites. I think we'll put him C tier. His ability is really kind of, I won't say average, but it's quite simple as well. It's not all that interesting. It's just like he cocks his arm and that's it. Yeah, I think his personality more than anything puts him higher up. Then got the pervert spider that looks after Zazan. Yeah, he's gonna have to. Then got this dude who's also. I think these are both going F tier. I think their impact in the Chimera arc was, as I say, even the littlest things in the Chimera arc left a huge impact. Like these two getting killed, especially his death scene was fucking horrifying with the whole brain manipulation that Neferpitou was doing. But yeah, again, as characters, I really couldn't care less about either of these guys. Don't know much about them. I know that she's quite nice. I know that he's alright. Like he's reasonably nice, but like other than that, I don't know much about him. Another one of the shitty Shadow Beasts. Then got this member of the election arc as well, who she was okay. She had some cute moments. She had some cute lines here and there, but other than that, yeah. Another crappy Shadow Beast. Here's another character I've seen quite, again, I wouldn't say disrespected, but underrated. Is starts with an R, doesn't it? Raboot. I don't think that's it, is it? Ramoot. That's the one. Close. Ramoot. Again, underrated in my opinion. I think C tier would be good for him again. I think he's got quite a sinister energy. He's obviously a massive part of Chimera learning Nen. But I quite like how he is. Again, he's very villainous, and he's kind of a generic villain, and he gets really angry and such. But I don't know, there's just something about Ramu I quite like, and love his reactions to things. I don't know how to explain it, but I think he's quite underrated, honestly. I usually see him again, usually towards the lower stages of these. What the fuck is this? What is that? Again, I'm just going to try and rattle off some crappy ones here. So, some crappy Chimera Ants. that literally get like seen. Just put them in F tier. I'll leave some of the more interesting ones. No idea who that is. Oh, actually, that's the old guard. Okay, so I rattled off a few more ones that guys don't really care about, I can't imagine. I then got Razor, who again got an interesting backstory with Jing. Quite like that. Obviously, massive standout segment during the dodgeball. And again, as a person, I really like him. Again, his evolution from kind of criminal to looking after Jing's son, looking after the Greed Island, I actually think is pretty cool. And again, just that dodgeball stuff alone, I think puts him in B tier. I'd like to see more of Razor, but I don't think we ever would because, again, the whole Greed Island stuff. I've then got Human Rainer. We've got Human Rainer and Camarant Rainer. I imagine we've got Camarant Kurt as well somewhere here. I haven't seen him yet, but I imagine he's here. No, I don't think we do actually. That's strange, isn't it? So we have just Human Kurt, but not Camarant Kurt. But we've got Camarant Rainer and Human Rainer. I might have to re-rank the Human Kurt based off that in that case. But yeah, Human Rainer, I guess, would go F tier. Again, got a lot of charisma, very cute. But I love the again, as small as it is, I really like the Camarant Rainer's journey. I think that was really touching and really heartwarming at the end of the Camarant arc. So yeah, she goes C tier for me. Again, I'll try and find Kurt because, like I said, I don't think his Camarant form's actually on here. A lot to look through though. Where are you, Kurt? Little Kurt. I think I put him in the F tier, didn't I? Yeah, there he is. So if we're judging based off his Camarant version as well, he's also going C tier. Like I said, I love his kind of journey. He very much stayed true to himself as a Camarant as he did to a human. I love that he's going to be looking after Kite. Yeah, he was just heavily involved in the story, and I like the Camarant version of Kurt quite a bit more than the normal version of Kurt. No idea who this is, but I really like this design on this person here. That's really cool, actually. Don't know who it is though. Then got the dude from Heaven's Arena, who's going to go in F tier. Another one of the guards, that A-Star Hunter, or Star Hunter, whatever his name is. Another one of the Zodiac, F tier. This dude who sweated big time when Killua visited him, F tier. Another one of the Zodiac, which go F tier. Is this the dog guy? No, it's not the dog guy. This is the... I forget who this is actually. Does he work with the Zoldyck family? Could just be talking rubbish there. Might just be talking absolute nonsense. Put him in F tier. Yeah, I think he is part of the Zoldyck family, right? I've then got the guy during the York New City arc who tests Karabaka and co. You go F tier. And then we've got Poof, who, again, I'm not sure if this is controversial. I saw a tier list on Twitter today, which is one of the main reasons I decided to do this, with Poof in F tier. And I can only imagine that was personal bias coming into the gist of things, as I said earlier, about ranking like heroes and villains, heroes higher and villains lower. S tier. If you think about it, Poof was the main antagonist of the Khamaran arc, wasn't he? He orchestrated a whole lot of what went on during the invasion. Hid things, kept secrets. He was very true to himself, which you respect, and you got to respect his what would you call it? His determinant. He was just so determined. You've got to respect it. I think it was a fantastic antagonist, one of the best antagonists in the series for sure. Underrated antagonist as well. Mr. Poof, always been one of my favourites. It's just like so unassuming as well because he's such a gentleman, but he's just so sinister. I love that shot of him with like his human face and that ant half of his face. I think that just speaks volumes about him. It speaks volumes about all the Khmer ants, don't get me wrong, but especially kind of him, that kind of feral nature. We then do have Shaunark, who again might be an unpopular opinion here. I'm not sure how popular Shaunark is, but honestly he's one of my least favourite of the Phantom Troop. His personality is very kind of cookie cutter. You see that same personality with a lot of characters in anime. But his abilities as well are also just like boring in my opinion. He either goes Super Saiyan or he controls dead people, which is quite fun, don't get me wrong. But I don't think it's very interesting. So he's actually my lowest. He might be my... that's the thing, there is people like Cortopi, so I wouldn't say he's quite as bad as Cortopi, but he's one of my least favourite Phantom Troop members, to be honest with you guys. Then got Shizuku, I think her name is. Again, we've got quite a bit of Shizuku, honestly, haven't we? She was one of the first Phantom Troop members Gon and Killua met when they had the arm wrestling. She was quite heavily involved in the Khmer portion of the Phantom Troop as well. Very good design, love her design. Her abilities really interesting. I'd say she's up there with what some of my favourite Phantom Troop members. Again, we haven't really had much of an exploration of her as a person. She's very kind of unassuming. She seems a bit kind of away, if that makes any sense. But I do like her quite a lot, so I think I will go B tier. Or C tier, I don't know. I think her character design is absolutely phenomenal, so B tier. Then got Shoot, who I really like. Love his fight during the Khmer arc. I think he's a really interesting character in his cowardness as well. Very different type of character than usual. So I think I'm going to put him B tier. He's definitely my he's definitely my pick between Knuckle and Shoot. I do much prefer Shoot, especially during the Khmer arc. Again, I think he's done a phenomenal job. Then got Silver, who we see quite a bit of throughout the story. Again, mostly as just like being Killua's dad, not as a character in his own right. But when he does get his own kind of time to shine with his dad during the York New arc and during the Khmer arc, he's always a massive presence on the screen. And he's just one of those side characters you don't see too much of, but when he's on screen, it is always just brilliant. So I think he's a B tier. Or again, the more I look at this, the more I think Nov does go into B tier as well. But yes, Silver, as I said, maybe a quite unpopular opinion on that one, but again, every time he's on the screen, he lights things up. So I rate that quite a lot. No idea who this is. I don't know who the fuck that is. Some kind of camel Khmer. No idea who that is. Again, we'll just rattle some more off here that I don't know. Tesgera is the name I was looking for earlier. No idea who that is. No idea who that is. Are these maybe some of these people are from movies? I haven't seen any of the Hunter x Hunter movies, so perhaps that's where some of these people come into play that I don't recognise. This guy looks like he could be a movie villain, to be fair, so maybe that's where he's from. We're going to chuck this guy in F tier. We're going to chuck that guy in F tier. Going to chuck that guy in F tier, of course. We'll chuck this guy in F tier because this guy, as much as he had a pretty interesting segment during the York New City arc, I really couldn't care less for him. Chuck that guy in F tier, and then we've just got characters we kind of know. We'll chuck her in F tier as well. So yeah, here's the dog guy again. You felt for him during the York New City arc, but again, not a character I care too much about. This guy, another one of Tesgera's men, I believe. F tier. What's this dude's name? I forget. What? Chompa or Dompa or something like that, right? I don't know. It's been a long time since I watched the Hunter arc. So on my most recent rewatch, I just skipped the Hunter arc and just went to York New City. Went to Heaven's Arena first, should I say, and then York New City and such. Tompa, that's the one. I think this guy's got a lot of personality. I don't think he's F tier. I think we'll put him D tier. I love how he kind of shoot up for a little bit during the second Hunter exam where Killua went and he just kind of hid away. And of course, he got beat up anyway. But yeah, he's got a lot of persona. He was one of the funniest parts about those opening episodes, wasn't he? We then got Tesgera, who, again, I don't really care for all too much. He was a reasonably big part of the Greed Island arc, but as a character, I really couldn't care less about that guy. We then got Granny, Granny Zoldyck, who was pretty damn cool during the election arc, wasn't she? Again, not a favourite of mine. I can't believe I ranked this many characters. I really should have deleted a load of these. It is what it is though. But again, not massively interested in her. Again, I appreciated her during the election arc, but I think we'll put her D tier. She got some cool animation during some of her transformation segments and such, turned into a bike, hasn't she? But as a character, again, I don't really care about her all too much. Oh, we're almost there, guys. I think we're pretty much done with the top class characters. I'm going to put this guy F tier, but he's actually another Chimerant I quite appreciate. He's quite nice and knowledgeable. I've then got Uvo, which might be the highest ranked character left for me. I really like Uvo. Again, huge persona. So you really felt his place in the Phantom Troop when he died. You really felt their pain and their loss, because he was such a big personality. He's got to be at least B tier. I love Uvo. That's the thing. They made me love Uvo. The way the Phantom Troop loved Uvo. It's crazy. Yeah, I think B tier, but he would be right towards the top of B tier. I love Uvo. One of my absolute favourite Phantom Troop members. Shame, obviously Shame, he's dead. And they got Welfin, who's another really interesting character. Again, a little bit like Bezef with his kind of he wanted to be the king behind the scenes, which Bezef was. But I love how his journey ended up going as well, Welfin. Put him C tier. Again, it was nothing majorly special, but again, I did find it very interesting. I did find the story did get a little bit. It took me out of the story a little bit more when we had the Welfin segments. But even especially on first watch, I didn't like those segments. As I said, with a cow go with Welfin on my first watch, it took me out of the story a bit. But the more I rewatched, the more I appreciate those segments for those two. They got Yonju, I think his name is, who yeah, F tier. Same with Zarzan, F tier. Don't care less about them. Then got the old man guard for the Zoldyck family, which is unfortunate, F tier. I like the guy, but I don't care about him. I also don't care about this guy, who was seemingly kind of built up to be a kind of bigger character, being friends. I think he was an appraiser, wasn't he? To be friends with Gon and Killua, but I'm not sure we'll ever see this guy again. And I never really cared for him in the first place. Then got Zushi and his master, whose name I forget, so apologies. Zushi's fine. Again, not a character I love. He's a cute little guy. Not a character I hate. I would like to see him again in the future, that's for sure. I'd like to see him when he's a bit older, because I think as was mentioned, he's got quite a bit of potential, honestly. So I'll put him D tier, should I say? Again, nothing all too interesting going on with his story, but again, hopefully we get to see his future. We've then got his master as well as Gon and Killua's original master, whose again name I forget. And we will put him, again, he's not a character I care too much about. He was massive in explaining Nen. Again, one of the best, maybe the best power system in anime. He was massive in introducing that and teaching that. So I've got to respect him for that. But again, as a person and as a character, I don't care for him all too much. So we'll put him D tier alongside Zushi. Not like got a massively interesting backstory or character arc or anything. So, and then to end off, we've got Silver. No, it's not Silver. Is it Silver Zoldyck? I think Silver's his son. He is Zeno. That's the one. Zeno Zoldyck, which, again, I'm going to be honest with you guys, he would have been S tier on my first watch of the anime. I thought every moment that he was in was fucking phenomenal. Animation, again, he's not got a massive like backstory or character arc or anything, but every fight he's involved in, every scene he's involved in is really intense. Even him just speaking, for example, when he speaks to Gon and Killua during the Chimeran arc, talking about Meruem, he's like, "It's not what we expected. Go see for yourself." Even like lines like that, I thought had so much kind of aura to them. He would have been S tier. Maybe a few years ago, but I think I'll put him A tier. Again, just one of those side characters I love. Every anime has these like side characters that maybe don't get too much screen time, but are just badass as fuck and just like they shine on screen every time they appear, even when they're just talking or during fight scenes. He's just one of my favorites, and it's kind of hard to explain, but hopefully you guys understand. So that is the list. Again, do let me know what you guys think about my list down in the comment section. Also, again, let me know if there's any changes, especially to the higher and lower tiers. If any of you guys would maybe put one of my S tier characters in F tier, for example. Would definitely be interested to hear your opinions, especially on some of my maybe hotter takes, like God not being in S tier, for example. But yeah, again, do let me know what you guys thought in the comment section. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you guys do like, and subscribe to the channel if you do want to keep up to date. This was a hell of a time. It's crazy when you look at this. It's like, oh, you know what? This maybe didn't take so long. There's not all too many characters on here, and then you go down, and the F tier is just boom, the same size as the rest of the list, and the don't know as well. Again, I imagine a lot of these characters are from the movie, so apologies about that. But yeah, thank you guys very much for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day, guys.